Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our uranium daily technical analysis update. So let's dive right in. Again, this is just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. But let's dive in and I'll give you my opinion. So here's uranium. This is kind of a medium-term view. We've been bouncing all over the place over in this upper right-hand corner. We are still, let me throw a little trend line in here, and it's about right there. So when looking at this, we came up, we came back. That's kind of our retest, and now we're still trying to gain some traction to move on up. But everything looks fantastic from a charting perspective. Nothing's broken, everything's all good. So when looking at URNM, everything looks good. We're just moving sideways at the moment. We came down, we hit the bottom of the hammer pattern, we came up, and we're trying to turn this ship around. And it takes a little bit of momentum and some time to do it. These things aren't speedboats, or even speedboats need a little bit of time to turn around. We can't just turn and move and move in the other direction. What usually happens is you kind of come up, you turn, and you kind of just go back and forth. You create a pattern. What we're probably doing is we're creating a pattern where this will come up something maybe like this. And then we're going to create a pattern and break it, something like maybe that, where we're coming up into a flag and then we're going to break it and move on higher. But that's probably something that it could potentially be, is what it's forming. And that's hopefully what it's forming, because we've got another wick at the bottom here. I think it's going to be sometime soon. We're creating this pattern, perhaps. And we're doing that with almost every single one. If you look, you've got that pattern coming up there. And then you've got, maybe this guy there. Is it ascending wedge, or are we going to break to the upside? Now, it doesn't matter. Even if this were to break down, I'm not going to do anything different if this is an ascending wedge. But if we break to the upside, we're going to be gone. So that's the pattern potentially. We'll see. And we're seeing that type of pattern in all of them kind of develop. Next Gen has it as well. This one's more of a flat pattern that we're kind of maybe creating. There's the top potentially that we're looking at, and then you've got your side here that we could potentially be putting in. It's kind of a weird pattern, if it is a pattern. It may not even be a pattern. It may just continue to move sideways like that. We've got a big bullish engulfing and a small little down day next to it. Looks good to continue higher for Sky Harbor on the short term. That's with this big bullish engulfing pattern and the small down day next to it. Can Alaska, again, we might have a little bit more sideways action before moving up, just by looking at the candlesticks on this side over here. Standard uraniums looks good. It's just been moving on up in an uptrend. I would just hold on. ISO energy, it's still kind of stuck in this little area here. We've got support underneath. Let me see here. There's the support underneath it. Came up and it's pausing here, and we just got to break one way or the other. If it breaks down, we got go back to support maybe. Breaks up, we break out of maybe a little pattern here. Baseload energy, I think we're still going to move sideways, bouncing back and forth, consolidating a little bit longer, or putting in this. What this is a big cup and handle pattern. It's a cup, and then the handle is forming right now. UEXCF looks like it's a bearish engulfing, but the entire sector doesn't look too bad. So I think we're going to go sideways, maybe. Sideways. And same with Pure Point, more sideways action before moving up. Just looking at the candlesticks on the right-hand side. Denison Mines. Let me see here. We have Denison Mines here, and we're trying, let me try to get this through here. And we've got this kind of almost resistance line coming through here. And then we've got the lows stepping up here. So we could be coming to a point where we break sometime soon to the upside here. I just kind of connected all these lines. So that looks pretty good if we can break to the upside. And UU is doing the same thing. We're all kind of moving on up. We've got higher lows stepping up and these higher highs. And then the line going across is like there or so. We got this line coming up. So we'll see if we can break it here shortly. UEC, man, this one looks like it might have already. Here's UEC. That thing looks like it's wanting to try to break out. We'll see if the sellers get it or not. But UEC looks really good here. We could potentially roll to the upside. URG, yeah, we're still got a little bit more action sideways before trying to move on up. Uranium Royalty Corporation, I'm just kind of zooming across. We've got higher lows stepping up. Maybe a little bit more sideways action before moving on higher here. Encore Energy, a little bit of a down day today. I still think we got a little bit more to go. Sideways action before moving up for Encore. Just looking at the candlesticks, guys. And Bannerman still looks good to be putting in. Looks like a bottom here to try to turn and move on up. So this one looks good as well. And Deep Yellow looks good. Similar pattern to Bannerman. Bullish, engulfing, bullish. Kind of like we're slowing this momentum down before we turn and move on up. Forces Metals looks really good. We have a bullish engulfing pattern here where we have two big buying pressure, small selling pressure, bullish engulfing. I think we're going to end up going higher here very, very soon. Goviax, this one broke its resist. There's a support line that goes through here. There's a support line that goes through here. We're on top of it. So I think eventually, I mean, we could go down maybe tomorrow, but because of the black candlestick, but it's cycling above it, ready to move on higher. So that one looks pretty good. Global Atomic, you can kind of cut through here, cut through here. I mean, we could be setting up. See, nah, nothing much. Can't really draw too much in here. We've got Laramide here. Let me see if I can draw something in here. All right, throw this guy in here. Looks something like that. Then it's like this is the lows are coming up. We'll see what happens if this is an ascending triangle. If we break to the downside here, we might have a further pullback. And that, I doubt it though, because the rest of the sector looks pretty good. Penn MF. Drawing this in here. See, you've got support underneath it, so that looks really good. So anything by this line, it's probably a good spot to be picking something off. Same with Boss Energy is the same way, right through this support line at 16, 17 cents. Everything looks good. So if the downside would be a little bit further down if we were to pull back. 16, 17 cents is where the strong support's at. And International Consolidated Uranium, I mean, I don't see I mean, it could be coming through here. We could see a turn soon. We do have support all underneath it. Maybe not a bad spot in here to be looking at it. Because that's on prom looks good to move moving up. Looks good. Nice buyer stepped in today. Good move higher. So that one's looking a little bit better. Paladin, not much to really say here. Centrus has just taken off, and I don't chase things. I wouldn't be a buyer up here, but I would definitely hold it and just let it go. Lotus Resources, looking at this, I think we're going to move sideways a little bit before moving on up. But this one looks good. If we had a downtrend break here, another consolidation pattern where we came down and consolidated, and see how this thing kind of consolidated for a little bit and then moved up? I think we're doing the same thing, consolidate for a little bit and then move up. And then we'll create maybe another pattern up here or something eventually. But overall, uranium looks pretty good in a lot of different areas. Doesn't look too bad. Some of them look like they may pull back a little bit more. It's kind of a mixed bag. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I don't want to the Bannerman looks good, and Forces Metals looks good, and I see ones that are wanting to turn and come back up. I see others that may need a little bit more time moving sideways. Sky Harbor looks good, like it wants to go up, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. So it's a kind of a mixed bag depending on where you look and what companies and I should say what regions that they're in. But some of them, UEC looks good to move on up too. That one looks like it could run if it breaks away here. So that's another one that could really move. So it's looking good in some sections. Some areas look pretty good. So overall, I think if we can get some traction here, we could start seeing things break loose to the upside. If not, maybe we stick around for those. Maybe we have a little bit further pullback in the ones that look a little bit weaker. If you guys like this type of analysis, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.